When I started playing Goons of Balatron, everyone told me that electric decks just weren't very good in the current meta with the current cards available. Flux, you shouldn't play electric. Electric just doesn't work. That's the old meta. Everyone's playing fire. Everyone's playing earth. Everyone's playing 4-color. If you want to do a combo, play water decks. Well, anyway, I figured it out. Turns out electric is super underrated. I would actually say it's one of the strongest decks, and because it is so underrated, because everyone in the game has been saying, oh, you shouldn't play electric, electric's not that good, it actually means the cards are a little bit cheaper. I think it's a lot cheaper to build electric decks than it is to build, for example, earth decks or fire decks. And as a nice bonus, the electric playstyle doesn't really require any of what you might call the pay-to-win cards. You don't really need any epics. You barely even need any rares. The list I'm about to show you runs one epic just because I do have it. Shout outs to Sal for gifting me Terraramba. It's like the only epic I even play with most of the time. But yeah, this deck is really affordable and really strong. It has become my favorite deck to play. So let me show you here first, because it's a little bit more organized. I will link this in the description, and while you're looking at that, you can also like and subscribe on the way down, maybe, if you don't mind. So here is the list. It's 12 free cards, 15 commons, 2 rares, and 1 epic. Again, the epic is that Terraramba that I got gifted. Thanks again to Sal. If you don't have that, you can run Evil Nicholas. You could run Intoxicated Beast. Really anything with big stats, of which there's quite a few cheaper options out there. So don't worry too much about Terraramba. With that said, if you do have it, or if you have a little bit more budget to buy cards, Terraramba is a fantastic electric card. And I will say one more thing before we get into looking at the key cards, like win condition, is that as more cards are added into the game, there are going to be a few more epics and or rares that will be really helpful, notably Nihilistic Toaster and something fan. I forget the full name, but like biggest fan or big fan. I forget what that card's called. Something fan. So there's going to be a few more rarer cards added to the list later. With that said, the combination here, the win condition, it's not full combo. It's not as much of a combo deck as, for example, one-turn kill water decks, which we'll talk about in the future. But it is somewhat of a combo. You're going to want to make a bunch of lightning tiles. Ideally, you get all 7 tiles to be lightning tiles. And then you use Rise of the Robots, summoning a 1/1 pounce creature on each of those tiles. After that, you're going to use Sapien Charge, which gives them all +2 attack. And that alone, if you have a 7-tile combination, 7 1/1s that all get +2 attack, so they all become 3 attack, that is 21 pounce damage, which means 21 damage that as long as you're not blocked by insult, you can go right to the face. As long as they don't have any kind of frontline insult thing, you can go face. 21 damage, really, really strong. But what people didn't realize is that's actually not the whole combo. There's 2 things that are being forgotten about. Because most people, when I talked to them about electric, they told me Rise plus Sapien, 21 damage. Well, that's really not all. First off, Electric Boogaloo, people just kind of forgot this exists, or I don't know. But if you add this, that's a 3-card combo, which is still not a lot of cards. The water combo is usually at least 4 or 5 cards. Depending on how you do it. This is another +1/+1 for every creature on an electric tile. So theoretically, and of course you can do smaller combos. You don't always need the full combo to get the win. But if you have 7 tiles on an open board, Rise of the Robots, Sapien Charge, and then Boogaloo, now instead of having 7 3-attack creatures, they're all +1/+1, you have 28 damage. You have 4 times 7. And add on to that the fact that you're ensnaring the opponent's creatures, which means that you can sometimes use this if you're desperate before you have lethal to do some damage and then just guarantee that you won't get attacked next turn. Taking it even further is Cacophony. Let me explain this after I sip my water. Hydration is key. Okay, so Rummage for an electric spell, and if you've played 10 or more electric cards this game, Rummage for 2 electric spells instead. If you play this late in the game, you can totally get the double spell, but it's great even if you only get the 1 Rummage, which you usually only get 1, because you can use this to delve one of those combo pieces. You can get Rise of the Robots, Sapien Charge, or the other one, the Boogaloo. And if you get a second copy of any of those, Now, if you have a second copy of Boogaloo or Sapien Charge, you can do more than 30 damage in one turn from an empty board, so it's a real full health one-turn kill combo. On top of the fact you can get a second Rise of Robots in case you need to use one earlier. It's really powerful. Now, another part of the deck I want to mention, so I'm trying to keep this pretty condensed, is that you're going to use this to get your high attack creatures early. Make sure you play this quickly and don't sleep on this. We're running, so what it does is it's going to draw a random creature from your deck that has 5 or more attack, and we have 3 cards that can do that. I added some stuff specifically for this combo because it's so effective. It both gets you strong attack on the board and it gets you more lightning tiles. So you have the Geriatric Current, you have the Eel Tamer, the 6/2 and the 5/3, and then of course the Mevthar, one of the rares in this deck, one of the best rares you can get. And I would highly advise picking one of these up if you're picking up any cards to build a collection because it's well worth it. That one's the 5/3 with the big effect. And we're not going through all the basic cards now. You know, I have a beginner video from last week that goes over some of the very basic cards you'll see in lots of decks. Moving a little faster on this one since I can't go over the same cards every single video. But if you've played for a bit, you know Mevthar, of course, deals 10 damage randomly to the opposing enemies after 3 turns of being MIA. So the Inoculated Invertebrate is going to be excellent for getting you more of your powerful cards more quickly. And the key with this deck is as you play out your first 5 to 7 turns, you don't need to save your creatures because you're going to make new creatures with your win condition Rise of the Robots combo. So you can play your creatures as you go. The key is use your electric creatures to make electric tiles and try not to play the off-color creatures on electric tiles. So if you're going to play Octocaster, which we're including because it does add a spell to our hand from the deck, it thins out the deck, it gives us value, it's worth playing, but play that on a plain tile, an open tile that hasn't been used yet. Don't replace a lightning tile with the water tile. You understand? You want to always be going towards more lightning tiles, and that's how you snowball towards your winning condition, but your opponents oftentimes might not even really kind of realize how close you are to getting. Now, if I was thinking about anything else, you know, Fireball, of course, try to save it because that'll get you lethal if your Rise of the Robots combo isn't quite there. Also, if you're going to trigger Deep Freeze, try to save Fireball for the turn after Deep Freeze. That's the secret that prevents lethal damage for a turn. Because if they end up with 1 or 2 health left and they play an Insult creature, Frontline can still hit him in the face to get lethal next turn. So a good anti-Deep Freeze tech right there. Right now the game is bugged, so cards like this can't aim face, but Warcry deal 2 damage. This should be able to aim face, so stuff like this will be a little more effective once that gets fixed. And then you have a lot of your general electric value cards. Raxier is just good stats with the Insult. Ensnare is a nice bonus. As I've said, it's not essential, but if you do have Terrorumba, the big 10-10 in the late game can be a good alternate win condition in case your combo isn't enough all by itself. This is a nice 3 damage pounce, which I'm often using. Hit them in the face because, you know, you want to chip away. If you can get them down to 25, get them down to 20, get them down to 15, the further down they go, the less of a full combo you need. So that's what this kind of thing is doing. And as I said before, you know, we have some pounce in this deck, but Nihilistic Toaster and the Fan are going to give us some other super strong pounce that's going to make this deck even stronger. But it's already really strong. And of course, we're running the Junkie in the electric deck. It gives us an electric tile, but it also gets run in every deck because it's just one of the strongest draw cards in the game. Also, much like with the Inoculated 1/1 that gives us the high attack creature, another cycling creature is Electromental. When it dies, it adds a random pounce creature from the deck to the hand. So try to play this and trade it in quickly. Try to avoid this or Inoculate ending up not drawing, because if you draw all of your creatures that it can get you before you play it, you end up drawing nothing. So make sure you get the value from those. I'll also mention Twin Rivers might be a little bit of a sus decision. It does give your opponent a draw. I just find that draw is so useful that it's worth running even this. And the body, the 2/4 stat line, sometimes does make a bit of a difference. So I think Twin Rivers fits in, but, you know, maybe you try taking it out. Okay, with all that said, let's go into a sample match. I'm going to show you guys this deck in action, and let's just see how it gets those wins. Let's do it. All right, so we got our opening hand here. We got 2 draws, and sometimes I keep Mevthar. Keeping Mevthar in the opening can be good. This is pretty much the only non-draw card I consider keeping, but yeah, I'll keep it. And let's see if we can cook it up here. Yeah, they also have a turn 1 Mevthar. Playing a Mevthar right after they do is actually pretty solid. I'm also going to play Invertebrate right away. Make sure we don't draw the other ones, the other 5 attack guys before we play it. And yeah, we'll Mevthar, because then my Mevthar can basically just kill theirs right away. I'll hold on to Cacophony for a bit. No urgent need to play it. We can Radis the Croissant. Luckily, if you don't have stats removal in your hand, then Croissant is really hard to deal with. But as long as you're lucky enough to have it, then at least you'll have an answer. Then you can hit him in the face for 1 in a spot like this, and that's pretty much all we got. We're just trying to draw as much as we can while chipping away at their face. Don't let them hit me in the face. They play a secret, so maybe that's a Hollow Maidens. Always my first guess is like, what if it's Hollow Maidens? I can also play Electromental. This has a Last Breath, which is good to play into Mysteries, in case it is a Golden Shower or another thing that activates as soon as I play something. In this case, it's not, so that's fine. Their Mevthar is about to wake up. Then mine wakes up. Actually, this is a pretty textbook opening where we get ahead on the board and we, like, develop draws and electric creatures. This is pretty solid. Hoping to get more draws to cycle through the deck quickly as we can. Looking for Voltage Junkie. Sleeping Jimmy. Wouldn't mind cyberbullying so we can discard some of their crap. And they just pass. They let my Mevthar do the work. Is it Hollow Maidens? It is. So they get another Mevthar. I'm okay with that, by the way. Mevthar might be very powerful. I'm okay when they get a Maidens on it because it's so slow. And in a lot of matches, especially with this deck, we're not really too worried about them having that, frankly. So, yeah, we're already getting kind of close. We could also just win with a Sapien Charge and maybe never need to use a Rise of the Robots if they just don't have answers. They said GG, so that could... They are not having a very strong opening. Let's keep drawing, keep drawing, keep drawing. Cyberbully them. And you can see how them getting another Mevthar is not really accomplishing them very much. It's a crazy board. And if we draw Rise of the Robots, we have a follow-up. But before that even happens, they need to actually answer this board. Nice shiny only kitty. But yeah, this is the power of the deck. It's aggressive even without the combo. And then when you add in the combo, it's just insane how good it is, right? So they're drawing. Ooh, shiny parkour. They do have a buff defender now, so 5/12 insult. We got to cut through that. No, they just top decked. They just drew that for sure. All right, we got to find some answers for stuff. Not quite there. Boogaloo, pretty good. We are not. We don't have Rise of the Robots. Can we just get it right away, or do we save this for a double rummage? I think we want to play this like next turn, the Cacophony. Let's just play Raxier and chill for 1 turn. This can't attack because of the buff they used on it. Let's just wait for 1 turn. Let's see what this turn looks like for them. That's lethal. That's not a big deal. All it's going to do is kill our Raxier. All right, we're super close. This should be very winnable. If we can just draw Rise of the Robots like right away, that would really be ideal. All right, Terrarumba is certainly very, very strong, especially when they're still 2 turns away from their Mevthar. So I could use Sapien Charge here. Let's see what Cacophony gives me. We're looking for lethal here. Soul Neutralizer, not enough, but Rise of the Robots will give us the win. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles. Let's do it. Perfect. That gives me the combo. And that's exactly why Cacophony is so good, is that it's a second way to get combo pieces. So here's the combo. We didn't even have to draw Rise of the Robots. We were just able to get it from Cacophony. So Cacophony is just another way to draw into your combo pieces. You can see all my stuff on these electric tiles. I'm going to play... the one that's not on a tile I attack with first, just because of the nuances of how Electric Boogaloo works. Anything not on an electric tile gets ensnared, including on your side. And watch the clock, because if you run out of time, you don't get to finish your combo. But that's it. Nice and simple demonstration. This deck tends to work really well, way more often than you'd expect. And it can also find wins in tough matches. Like, you'll just get there in close matches where you just find lethal a little bit faster than your opponent a lot of the time. Like, this deck is so good. So there it is, Electric Pounce aggro deck. Hope that guide was useful for you. Nice quick sample match. That's really pretty much all you need to see for that. So let me know in the comments, what kind of deck do you want to see next? What should my next Goon Wars deck feature be? And that's all I got. Flux signing out.